The fallacy is named after a joke that goes like this: a Texan who is not very good at shooting fires some bullets at the side of a barn. Then he paints a target around the cluster of bullet holes that is closest together and claims to be a sharpshooter. The joke illustrates how someone can manipulate data to fit their desired conclusion by ignoring the differences and emphasizing the similarities. This is a fallacy because it does not take into account the randomness and variation that are inherent in any data set. It also does not consider the possibility of alternative explanations or confounding factors that could account for the observed pattern. By using this fallacy, one can make any data seem to support any hypothesis, regardless of its validity or plausibility. Exactly this happened 2001 with the interpretation of Nostradamus's prophecies and the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States. Some people believed that Nostradamus had predicted the tragic event. They focused on a quatrain that referenced fire from the sky and two great rocks, interpreting these phrases as representing the Twin Towers and the planes that struck them. However, the quatrain itself is quite vague and could be applied to numerous historical events involving fires or destruction from above. This is a perfect example of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy in action, where people selectively focus on specific details to support their conclusion while ignoring the broader, ambiguous nature of the text. Hey rational rebels! Welcome to the arena of reason, the very place we train our minds to spot cognitive pitfalls. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning, where we strive for cognitive precision and free our minds from that mental prison. Today, we're exploring the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, also known as cherry picking or selection bias. This fallacy occurs when someone focuses on specific data or examples that support their argument while ignoring the broader context or data that contradicts it. Before we delve into this intriguing topic, remember to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell to stay updated with our mind-strengthening content. If you find our podcast valuable, consider supporting us through PayPal using the link in the description. Your support helps us continue our mission of promoting rational thinking. Also, please share this episode with someone you know who might be interested in understanding the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Supercharge your mind, hit subscribe, don't be left behind. Let's get started. Now that you're familiar with this intriguing example, let's dive into a couple of concrete studies about the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. In a 2005 study by researchers at the University of Michigan, participants were presented with randomly generated sequences of coin flips. Despite the sequences being random, participants frequently identified non-existent patterns or streaks of heads or tails. This finding demonstrates the Texas sharpshooter fallacy in action, as people tend to perceive patterns even in random data. In a 2013 study published in the journal PLOS One, researchers investigated the Texas sharpshooter fallacy in the context of financial markets. They analyzed the performance of various investment strategies and found that the strategies that appeared to be the most successful were often just the result of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy. Investors tended to focus on specific time periods or market conditions that made the strategies seem successful while ignoring the overall performance across different market conditions. This study highlights the importance of considering the broader context and being aware of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy when making investment decisions. Now that you have a better understanding of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy through research, let's take a look at some real-world examples that you might be familiar with. 1. Astrology. Belief in astrology is a classic example of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, as people often focus on specific predictions that seem accurate while ignoring the many other vague or incorrect predictions. 2. Sports. Hot streaks. People often attribute a series of successful plays in sports to a player's skill or a hot hand, ignoring the possibility that the streak may be due to random chance. 3. Lottery number superstitions. Many people believe certain numbers are lucky because they have appeared in winning lottery tickets, while ignoring the fact that every number has an equal chance of being selected. 4. Health fads and miracle cures. People tend to focus on anecdotal evidence and testimonials that support the efficacy of a health product or treatment, while ignoring contradictory scientific evidence or the broader body of research. 5. Political rhetoric. Politicians often use the Texas sharpshooter fallacy to support their positions, cherry-picking data or anecdotes that seem to support their agenda while ignoring evidence or facts that contradict it. 6. Product marketing. Companies often use the Texas sharpshooter fallacy in their advertising by highlighting specific positive attributes or benefits of a product while downplaying or ignoring any negative aspects or limitations. 7. Social media trends. social media users may engage in the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy by selectively sharing or promoting posts that support their views or beliefs, while ignoring evidence from all sources that challenge them. 8. Historical events. Some historians or researchers may selectively focus on certain events or evidence to support a particular interpretation of history, while ignoring or downplaying other evidence that contradicts it. 9. Business success stories. Business leaders or entrepreneurs may highlight their successes while ignoring the many failures and setbacks they encountered along the way, giving the impression that their success was inevitable or due solely to their own efforts. Now that you've seen these examples, let's explore some individual differences that might make certain people more prone to falling for the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy. 1. Emotional reasoning. Individuals who rely heavily on emotional reasoning, rather than evidence or logic, are more susceptible to the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy. They are more likely to focus on anecdotal evidence or individual experiences that confirm their beliefs, rather than considering broader patterns or data. 2. Need for closure. People who have a strong need for closure or certainty may be more prone to the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy. They are more likely to latch on to evidence or data that provides a sense of closure or resolution, even if it is not supported by the larger dataset. 3. Additionally, people who are more prone to impulsivity and less likely to engage in critical thinking may be more susceptible to the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy. So, how can you spot the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy and avoid falling victim to it? Here are a few tips to help you. 1. Consider the entire context. When evaluating a pattern or data point, make sure to consider all relevant information, not just the data that supports your conclusion. 2. Question your assumptions. Be aware of your own biases and predispositions, and try to challenge your own assumptions when interpreting data or patterns. 3. Seek out all sources of information. Expose yourself to a variety of perspectives and sources of information to get a more comprehensive understanding of the situation or topic at hand. 4. Practice critical thinking. Develop your critical thinking skills by asking questions, analyzing evidence, and looking for alternative explanations or perspectives. So, the next time you come across an astonishing prediction, a seemingly perfect pattern, or a too good to be true piece of evidence, remember the Texas Sharpshooter Fallacy and take a step back to consider the broader context and all the available information. So, rational rebels, what are your thoughts on this fallacy? Have you or someone you know experienced a similar situation? Share your perspective with the community and in the comments below. Your support is incredibly valuable to us. If you can, please consider making a donation through the PayPal link in the description. Every contribution helps us continue creating content that promotes critical thinking. Thank you for being a part of our mission. Keep your mind sharp, raise your banner with a like, enlist and subscribe to become a rational rebel alike, avoiding all the pitfalls that may come your way. This is Chris from Critical Conditioning, signing off for today.